No doubt guys, every reader of Bleach manga, especially the final arc, must have been amazed by the new additions in this part, especially the last episodes. Many things that fans wanted to be changed appeared, fixing some weak points in the story. For example, in the manga, Cour didn't show very well the role of Oryu, even though he is an important character in this arc. Also, we got to know more about Okitake's past and Mimihage's stories, which still has a role to play. And also Kobo has given us some hints about how Oryu survived the Ausweren. In a flashback where we saw Yuabach using Ausweren and Oryu's mother did something to save him, and as I said, this gave us clues about what happened and is also helping to build a good ending for the final battle. On the other hand guys, a lot of fans, especially the ones who had read the manga, had one question. Where was the Vizard's role in all of this, especially the captains among them? And the main question was why captains like Hiraku, Kinsey and Rose didn't use their hollow power in the war, and sadly the manga ended without answering this or showing a chance to fix it, until the anime third part. There we finally got to see this amazing scene of the Vizards with their masks. So how did this happen? And what could be the Vizard's role in the future? If you look at the Vizard's fate in the story, we see their group broke apart after the fight with Aizen. Some went back to the Soul Society like Hiraku, Rose, Kinsey, and Machio, while others like Hachigen, Love, Lisa, and Hyuri stayed in the real world. And Kobo explained that some of them felt comfortable in the human world and didn't want to return. And for those who went back to the Soul Society, there is some mystery about how they were accepted. The Vizards were once seen as hollows by Central 46, especially the old members, and were treated as enemies, but after Ora Arakiski took them to the real world, things changed. With Ichigo's arrival and the truth about Aizen Sasuke's role in the Hollowfication was revealed, and the old members of Central 46 were replaced after Aizen killed them. And after the war with Aizen Sasuke, the new Central 46 worked on many issues, including the Vizards, and this was mentioned in this novel about Kira. But it didn't explain exactly what decisions were made about the Vizard and their hollow powers. And this raises the question guys, can the Vizard captains use their hollow powers freely, or are there rules stopping them? There is no clear answer, but it seems it might be a rule that stops the Vizard from using their hollow powers in the series. For example, Hiraku or Rose didn't use their mask in the first or the second invasions. But in my opinion guys, even if there is such a rule, some might think that during the war these rules don't matter. But as we have seen guys, the Vizards didn't use their mask, even when they couldn't use their Bankai in the first invasion. However guys, Kobo now is showing us what the Vizards can do. The recent scene reminds me of their first big fight against Aizen Sasuke. And speaking about the captains guys, Kinsey and Rose's return was expected, since Mayuro had made those capsules for injured captains and Shinigami. And Byakuya even said that their return was only a matter of time when the Shinigami were getting ready to go to the Royal Palace. And now that they're back, what new things can they show us? Will they have new fights? And who will they face? There are many possibilities for the Vizards. For example, we've seen Hiraku use advanced Kido, like Hado 91. Kobo said that Rose is also very skilled in Kido and can use many techniques. We might see their Bankai combined with hollow powers. However, Hiraku's Bankai is a different story, because he can't use it with allies around him, and Rose might show us the third technique he didn't use against Masculine. And on the other hand, we can see the Bankai of Love. But the main problem guys here with these new abilities is who they will fight. It looks like they might fight Gerard, but this could lead to another lose for the Vizard. This would repeat the same problem, the same pattern of them showing us something new but still losing. So it would have been better if they had balanced fights against new enemies. But Kobo now hasn't given us any hints about the next battles or if they will be the same as the manga. Now we have only Ichigo going to fight Yuabach, and we don't know nothing about the Cour 4 and what battles can be. For example, now The remaining fights are the fight of Hollowfied versus Uryu, the fight of Orohara Kizuki versus Asuka Naklovar, and also the fight of Girard versus the trio Zaraki, Oshiro and Byakuya. So the big problem now is that we have a lot of allies. We have Arankas like Grimijo, Nail, we have Ryuken, we have Ishin, and also many captains and the Vizards and also the Fullbrings. And against who? Against, I think, 3 characters, against Girard and Asuka Naklovar and also Hollowfied. So what's gonna happen? Are we gonna see some new enemies? Maybe new Sternrichter? Who knows? Because as I said, Cour didn't show us anything, any hints about what could happen. And also guys, some fans are saying that we might see the novels adapted into anime, which means that they will give some episodes to the novel's events. And honestly guys, I wouldn't like this idea if it happened, simply because this season is meant to be and to adapt the Thousand Year Blood War arc, which focuses on Ichigo and the Quincy's, not the Can't Fear Onward novel, where Hisage is the protagonist. The events of that novel take place 6 months after that arc, and none of its content involves Ichigo. And to clarify guys, I'm not against the idea of adapting the novel into anime itself, however I wouldn't want them to take up the majority of the core episodes. But instead they could give maybe 2 episodes or 3 to explore some of its events. And actually I see the novel of Rokia the ideal choice to be adapted into anime, since it could serve as a setup for the chapters showing Rokia and Rinji as a married couple, as well as Ichigo and Ori. As for the novel Can't Fear Onward, I think that they can take the most important information and put it in the events of the Quincy arc, like what they did with the Hiraku's Bankai, and also they did some changes in the events. The last one was Giselle turning Minas and Candice into zombies, or Quincy's quick return to the battlefield. And so they can do that with other information like the story of Rio and other things. And one note guys, since we're talking about the Vizards, I think Kobo has a great chance now to give Lita some attention, especially since she's going to become the 8th Division captain in the future. In the end guys, what do you think about the future and the fate of the Vizard in the next Cour? Can we see other Bankais like the Bankai of Love and Lisa? Tell me guys your opinions in the comments and see you in my next video.